Okay, you probably noticed during my Kutztown Radio show Spring 2018 walkthrough, when I got to my booth, there was this large window-looking thing. Actually, it's a transom. A transom is basically a window that hangs over a door. And you probably noticed that. And it said RCA, Radio Corporation of America. And a lot of people noticed it. And well, I told them my story of how I obtained it and my theory behind it. And well, let's just take a look at it. Here it is. I figured I'd make a video for you people as I unload this from the van and put it back. Now, yes, this is RCA. Not some little podunk radio company. This is the 800-pound gorilla here. And you can see it's pretty big. It's about 6 feet across. The interesting thing is, I think we have pretty concrete provenance on this from the day it was installed back in the, mid-20s to basically the present day. And my theory is that this is from 75 Varick Street in Manhattan. Now, a little of my history, as some of you know, that basically I'm in the surplus business. I clean out ham radio estates from time to time, but it seems like the large bulk of my stuff is, it comes from surplus dealers that going under or have gone under, and the stuff's just been sitting somewhere for 20 years or whatever. Of course, those places are almost gone now. But one of my biggest scores and earliest scores when I got into this business was way back in 2004, 5, somewhere around there, Compass Communications. Now, Compass was a large post-war surplus dealer, started in the late 40s, like many, and really became quite a big deal. Started by Arthur Bernstein, a very interesting man. Now, the reason why the name Compass doesn't really circle around in ham radio lore is, Arthur did not like dealing with hams or individuals and experimenters. No, he was in it for the big money. He dealt with the navies of third world countries and universities and the merchant marine and such like that. He mostly did radar and maritime stuff, some radio as well. And he was a big deal. Arthur told me at one point he had 17 employees, which that's kind of a lot for a surplus dealer. His last place, the place I cleaned out, was Paterson, New Jersey. He was in the old armory. The old armory that is unfortunately now gone. I can't believe that place is gone. That fortress is gone. But that was his last location where he had all his stuff. Before that, he was in Newark. And he was in Newark for many years, his main warehouse. Now, like many, he was on Radio Row years and years ago. Now, the interesting thing is he was big enough that he actually had sales offices. And he had one in 75 Varick Street in Manhattan. Now, 75 Varick Street is a gigantic building. It's, of course, still there. I think it's called 1 Hudson Plaza or something like that, down by Tribeca. It is a triangular building, and that's because Canal Street runs at kind of an angle, and Varick is, of course, north-south. It's apparently a landmark now, and like I said, still there. Well, for many years, RCA was one of the big tenants there. They had RCA Institutes, which was basically RCA's school that was there, as well as Radio Marine, RMCA. Basically, that was RCA's maritime division. So Arthur had an office there, a sales office, in 75 Varick Street, along with RMCA. Now, at some point, RCA got out of there. I'm not entirely certain if it was the late 50s or sometime in the 60s. But yes, RCA, downsizing, closed up the 75 Varick Street office. And basically Arthur went dumpster diving. So he pulled all sorts of stuff when basically out of the dumpsters when RCA was leaving, including this transom. He had, and now I have, because I basically took them all, a gigantic technical library from RCA with some very strange things that I didn't know RCA even made. Someday I have to deal with that and get it to the right people so it gets archived and all that. But anyway, yes, RCA moved out. Arthur took a bunch of stuff, including this. Now, before I had bought Compass out, I used to go there mid 1990s, before 2000. I used to go there. Used to actually come out from Chicago and go there and buy stuff from Arthur. And at that time, this was whole. This big triangular piece was not missing. It was an entirely whole sign. Sometime between then and when I bought them out, it got broken. And I'll tell you, I searched like mad to find any pieces of glass I could. Anything. Didn't find any of it. I spent probably I spent over 6 months going to Compass and cleaning the place up. Never found any of the glass. So, this thing got installed in 75 Varick Street, probably in the late 20s when RCA moved in, because it's got that look about it. It looks late 20s. When it got uninstalled by the workmen there when RCA moved out, Arthur grabbed it. He took it to his surplus warehouse, where it sat for many years in the warehouse in Newark. Then it moved over to Patterson at some point, Patterson, New Jersey. Got broken, unfortunately. And then sometime 2004, 2005, somewhere around there, I took it home because it was still there. So I figured, hey, it's pretty neat. So let's take a closer look at it. Yeah, it has patina. It really wasn't taken care of over the years. Arthur was an old man. He didn't have employees anymore, really. They had one guy kind of showing up from time to time, but yeah, this thing was bumped around and such like that. And yeah, that's probably how this thing got broken at some point. I don't know where this was on the building, and I'd really like to find out. I need to get more evidence of it. I'm going to guess it's exterior because the glass is quite thick. It's roughly 1/4 of an inch thick. And also, as you can see, there is an alarm system installed here, that aluminum tape there. I think it's aluminum tape. That is for a burglar alarm. You break the window like this, and circuit breaks, alarm goes off. And you can see this is where it would go up to the connection. This was hinged at some point. It's got some galvanized steel over the window. So yeah, I'm pretty sure this was exterior. And like I said, Varick Street is a 75 Varick Street is a huge building. It kind of takes up the block. I don't know where this was. I need to find out. I'd like to get some shots of this transom as it was installed back in the day. Now, of course, yes, it's broken. It is broken. And some people, in fact, a lot of people that show completely dismiss this because, yeah, this is ugly. It looks to be a very historic window, but it's broken and it's missing a big piece. Now, I was talking to some glass restorers, some sign restorers, and yes, this could be restored. In fact, it could be restored so well that you would almost not be able to tell it was ever broken. From what I understand, what they do these days is they'll cut out the glass. They'll match the glass for thickness and all that. They will cut out a piece or pieces. And apparently these days they can actually use a water saw, a water jet, to get basically almost perfect. And then they will use a clear epoxy resin of sorts where the index of refraction is fairly close to glass. Fill in the crack and then basically polish it smooth. And then they will replace the lettering. Now, you can see they could certainly copy the font, and luckily there's a tiny little bit of the F left, so they could space this out properly. I'm not sure how they do the alarm ribbon. Obviously it doesn't have to be conductive anymore. Now you can see a little bit of it there sticking out. I don't know if they would just paint that or put a ribbon back on. I don't know. But from what I understand, this is not that difficult of a job, because the guys that restore stained glass have been doing this for years. You have to remember that a lot of stained glass, older stained glass, is actually painted. Like when you see Jesus or saints or whatever, scenes on old stained glass are actually, they paint the pane of glass. So if it's broken, they can't just take out the busted glass and cut a new piece in and stick it in between the lead. No, they actually have to restore it, because they can't just repaint. That'd be very difficult to get that right. So what they do is this cutting and epoxy treatment. And I have actually seen some work of that, and yeah, it's good. It is real good. In fact, from about this distance, and yeah, I should say this sign is about 6 feet wide. This window is about 6 feet wide. From this distance, you really couldn't be able to tell. You get up close, you might see the little wavering in the glass, but from this distance, no, it's almost invisible. They will match things so well. So I'm thinking about doing that. It'll be expensive. I've heard could be up to $800 to get that done, and well, it might be worth it. So yeah, a neat piece of radio history. No, it's not the main RCA building. That would really be something. But it's kind of the RCA building that's probably closest to closest in connection to the surplus world that we all love. That world is pretty much gone now, but hey, this thing remains. And I think I should get it restored. Now, I am looking for someone to restore this in preferably New York, because I don't want to ship this. This thing would be a pain to ship, because it might just get rebroken. Preferably in the Hudson Valley where I am. If I could find someone, I've got a few leads. Also, I need to find pictures, vintage photographs of where this was actually installed in the building. I would really like to find that. I don't know if I need to go to the New York Historical Society or what. I don't know. The building is still there. It's a landmark now. It's protected. So there should be plenty of documentation and pictures. I just can't find any online right now. So if any of you guys have any suggestions of where I could find an original picture of this installed at 75 Varick Street, that would be great, because I'd be able to double check everything and just add to the provenance of this. All right. Thanks for watching. I hope you like this, and I hope I can get some good suggestions out of you people. I do appreciate that. Okay. Subscribe if you like this. Leave a like. Comment. You can follow me on Twitter. I am Uniservo on Twitter. And maybe watch some of my past videos. All right. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.